Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new amazing Doctor Who kind of a topic video for today. So for this Doctor Who, I kind of want to talk about the whole bi-generation or the bi-regeneration and basically my thoughts on it and what basically I think of it from basically watching what Rusty Dev said in the Doctor Who commentary and other little random bits and dabs that was posted all through social media. So talking about the whole bi-generation thing where basically I think it's a good idea. It's something new, which is something I'm really excited about because it's something new instead of just basically the Doctor regenerating, moving on to the next phase. It is something new, and I do think it was something caused by the toy maker because the toy maker did kind of cause it and they did state it. But you did this. That's why there's two of us. But I kind of want to talk about basically my whole thoughts on the bi-generation and from what has been said about it as well. So, talking about the actual bi-generation scene, where basically you have Catherine Tate pulling the one side of David Tennant, and you've got Bonnie Langford pulling the other side, and then out pops Ncuti Gatwa, and then basically Bonnie Langford's still there, basically stopping, and David Tennant has to push the 15th Doctor out of him. I think it's a kind of a good way. It's brand new. It is new. I like to give it just try something new. It's not as bad as the whole Timeless Child story arc. I mean, the whole Timeless story arc really turned the fandom against each other. I mean, some people hated it, some people love it. I have very, very mixed feelings on the whole Timeless Child story arc. I know I'm not too fond of it, but I do kind of like the idea of basically other Doctors that we don't know about. It means Big Finish can actually dive into Doctors before William Hartnell's time, which is something I might be willing to listen to. But the whole bit of the whole bi-generation... Now, the fact that Time Lords knew about the bi-generation, but it was actually a bit of a myth, which is something I think is very fascinating. I think the Time Lords would have known that, but basically hide it. So basically, it's just, it's the Time Lords. They're very, very complicated race, aren't they, But the fact that the Time Lords knew about bi-generation, I think that's absolutely brilliant. The whole scene itself, I have to be honest with you, I quite enjoy. I do like it. I think it's, as I have said before, it's new. I think it's exciting. I wouldn't like this to be the one-off. If we were going to have a future regeneration, I kind of hope it would be like this one, another bi-generation. Because I don't really want this to be like a one-off. I kind of want this to see more in the future. And going by the recent article that basically Russell Davis said, and I think he said it in Doctor Who commentary as well, that the fact that when this happened to 14 and 15, this happened to all of the Doctors, really. So basically, you can just imagine Patrick Troughton popping out of William Hartnell, and William Hartnell just pushing Troughton out of him. Imagine John Pertwee, which is very, very different because John Pertwee was a lot taller than Patrick Troughton. So you can just imagine Patrick Troughton having to grab Pertwee's hands to push him out. Tom Baker popping out of John Pertwee, I think might be a good one. Imagine Peter Davison popping out of Tom Baker. Imagine, Colin Baker popping out of Peter Davison. Sylvester McCoy popping out of Colin Baker, I think it's a little bit too far-fetched. I like the whole concept because if they want to bring any of the past Doctors, instead of having to do this whole timeline jumble up, that this is all the timelines are out of sync and stuff, I think this might be interesting. So it just means that older Doctors can just pop in and out, where really, I think, yeah, okay, it does kind of do that, but there again, though, it does a little bit ruin the whole regeneration thing, I think. But the whole bi-generation, I think, if you think about it, if all the past Doctors basically had bi-generation, so imagine Jodie Whittaker just popping out of, of Peter Capaldi. Yeah, I mean, then imagine the 14th Doctor popping out of the 13th Doctor. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, you got me old face. Yeah, I have, I know you. I really think it does kind of do something to the show if all the past Doctors are still out there, technically. I mean, if they're going to do that, have a whole bi-generation thing where all of the Doctors just popped out of each other when they regenerated and kind of gone off to their own adventures. I mean, it could be a good way to bring back, like, say, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker, and Peter Davison. Yes, it's still having them like holograms and other stuff, or having the timelines out of sync. I think it might be a good way to say, oh yeah, we didn't die, we didn't regenerate, we just kind of got our own way and just got older. I think what Russell T Davies said, I think it does kind of ruin the final stories of each Doctor. I mean, it really does kind of ruin in a way like the War Games and of course Logopolis and, you know, the case of Androzani, where the Doctor thought he wasn't going to regenerate, and then he did regenerate into Colin Baker. So if that was going to happen, you can just imagine Peter Davison lying on the floor, and then Colin Baker just kind of pops at the side of him and go, oh, hello, you can go off on your adventures, but don't worry, I'm going to take over and carry looking after the universe. You know, I just don't think that'd be a fantastic way to do it. If it was going to move forwards with it, so in fact that it just happens to basically the Doctors that we have from 2023 onwards, but the fact that Ross Stevens said it happened to all of the Doctors, I don't really know what I generally think about it. I think it might be a good idea because it does give them that kind of leeway to bring in past Doctors for stories with the current Doctor, but I think it does kind of ruin the whole point of their final stories, especially with stuff where Pete Davidson doesn't know he was going to regenerate. He says, I don't know, it feels different this time. And then, of course, Colin Baker pops out of it. I mean, David Tennant's 14th Doctor, I absolutely do enjoy. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I actually prefer the 14th Doctor a hell of a lot more to the 10th Doctor. I know both incarnations were played by the same actor. I really think David Tennant was absolutely amazing as the 14th Doctor, and again the 10th Doctor I'm not a big fan of because of the whole romantic side we saw of the 10th Doctor, like with Billy Piper, the whole, you know, the way he kissed Madame de Pompadour, the way he kind of had little bits and dabs of romances through his timeline, especially with Lady Christina in the Planet of the Dead. I don't really care for the whole lovey-dovey stuff, so the 14th Doctor doesn't have that as much. I mean, yeah, they kind of did the thing where he said, oh, Isaac Newton was hot, and I'm there thinking, and the way the Doctor goes, yeah, I say that now, don't I? Yeah, I say that. I'm there thinking, okay, it doesn't really impact stuff, but okay. But the thing is that the whole bi-generation, I think if it was going to happen from now on, it would have been brilliant. But the fact when Russell stated that it happened to all of the Doctors at the same point, I'm there thinking, but it just kind of ruins their regenerations a little bit. It does ruin Pete Davidson's regeneration story. It ruins Tom Baker's regeneration story. It does ruin Matt Smith's regeneration story. I mean, when Matt Smith delivered that line, I will always remember when the Doctor was me, and then Peter Capaldi just pops out of Matt Smith and goes, oh, hello, don't worry, you can still have your lifetime, you know, you could go and do whatever you want, I'm going to take care of the universe. Yeah, I just don't really care the fact that happened to all of the Doctors. Yes, if I understand what Ross was trying to do with the whole like, Doctor, the Doctorverse, that we could have spin-offs with past Doctors. I mean, we do have one with Paul McGann kind of coming out. Nothing's been confirmed about it, but that has been highly rumoured, and I am 100% behind it. And if it's the only way we could get a Paul McGann spin-off, well, technically, I don't really mind. But the fact that we could have really a spin-off between the TV movie and, of course, in between the Big Finish audios and Night of the Doctor, they have got a much way gap. So we could easily have a spin-off about that point in the Doctor's timeline. Not a Doctor that kind of popped off from John Hurt's, like, when he came to regenerate and John Hurt just kind of popped out of him and then he goes off to have other adventures, you know. I don't really care for that kind of stuff. The whole bi-generation, if it was just going to happen to the 14th Doctor, 14th and 15th, and then, of course, if it was going to happen again between the 15th and basically the 16th, or the 16th and 17th, I'd be 100% for it because it was something new. But saying it happened to all of the past Doctors, I really 100% think it kind of ruined the regeneration stories some of them had. So anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think about the whole bi-generation? Did you like the concept? Are you okay with it? I'm okay with it if it happened from now on, but the fact it happened to all of the Doctors, yeah, it just kind of ruins some of the regeneration stories for me. I mean, the case of Androzani, that is 100% the best regeneration story to me. But now, the fact that I've reduced, like, saying, oh, all the Doctors happen to bi-generate at the time they came to regenerate, and they're thinking, but what's the whole point? I mean, Peter Davison's doctor didn't even know he was going to survive, and now you're saying that Davison's doctor is basically saw the Sixth Doctor pop out of him with half his clothes, and then basically the Fifth Doctor went sprinting away in another TARDIS. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you thought about the whole bi-generation. Is it something that you're happy with? Is it something that you're not happy with? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, and share, and join me for more awesome Doctor Who content.